All right, I think we're live. We'll give people a few minutes to roll in. Uh, Welcome, everybody. My name is Sunny Ray. This is the Sunny Ray Show. This is brought to you by Raz Rocket. Today I'm joined by David. David, you said, are you in Australia?
I am Sydney, Australia, sunny Sydney.
My goodness. I did a live stream last week with someone from Australia, and that's such a just a crazy thought, no, that we're on like opposite sides of planet Earth and we're like talking as if we're in the same room. I love it.
Totally.
So David is the co-founder of Persona Space. They are an AI-powered platform that helps creators land brand deals. I'm super pumped to get into it. Do you want to share maybe like a 1 minute teaser just so people know what we're going to talk about in terms of your company? And then, like I said, I'd like to maybe start with more of your backstory before we get too deep
Yeah,
into that.
yeah, totally. And it's great to be here, Sunny. So thank you. So Persona is an AI operating system for the 200 million global content creators. So really what that means is we have kind of two AI agents. One is what we call an outbounding agent, which is very much a way for content creators to automate all their outbounding and effectively cold pitch to brands to land more brand deals. And the other one is an AI agent that sits across the various marketplaces. So that's like Upwork, Fiverr, and it basically automatically applies to those marketplaces on behalf of the content creator.
Interesting. Cool. So I guess, yeah, like I said, so let's take it back. Maybe what were you doing before you got into entrepreneurship and tech?
Yeah,
Maybe give people a bit of a backstory and then and then we take it from
yeah,
there.
no problem. So yeah, my backstory, I guess when I finished school, I loved mathematics. So when I went into university, I did a mathematics degree, combined it with finance because that felt like just a bit of an insurance policy. But I ended up leaving university and getting a job at a investment bank. So I spent a few years in investment banking, like UBS. But I always saw myself going into business. Like growing up, my dad was an entrepreneur, so I spent time with him learning about business. So I left UBS and joined a kind of a startup at the time, like a growth business. It was a car subscription business. And we grew that business for a few years. And then about 4 years ago, my co-founder, Josh, who happens to also be my brother-in-law, he approached me about an idea in the creator economy. So he was very much, his background's digital marketing. And so he approached me with an idea. And at the time, and that idea, the business was called Peddler. And that was basically storefronts for content creators. So we started building that, but we quite quickly observed two things. So one is that there is a lot of talent in the creator economy. There is a lot of money. So to kind of give you high level numbers, last year there was, the economy is estimated to be about 500 billion and there's over 200 million content creators. There's a lot of money, but there's a lack of infrastructure. Also, the other kind of key learning we identified was that for the vast majority of content creators, making money from their audience, so what we call audience monetization, and that's things like selling affiliate links, selling subscriptions, selling courses. It's actually very hard for them, especially for the kind of middle and tail. Because if you think about audience monetization for creators, it's very much a sales funnel, right? So, their audience is, the 20,000 or 15,000, whatever the number is, subscribers or viewers. But then there's like an e-commerce conversion, right? So only 15% of people would see their content, which then goes down to, maybe 1% converting to actually a sale. So for a lot of these content creators, audience monetization was actually quite hard. And our first kind of foray into the creator economy was around that audience monetization piece. But what we learned was where a lot of creators want to focus and how they want to monetize is through brand deals. So that's paid brand sponsored deals, because the ROI of their time is much better or much higher for paid brand deals. So for example, 5 pieces of content as a creator you would make to try and sell an affiliate link, let's say, you might earn $50, but that same 5 pieces of content, if that's a brand deal, you can be earning hundreds, thousands of dollars, right? So we identified that brand deals is really where creators want to focus. Then we started kind of double clicking on what does that brand deal landscape look like, right? So how are creators currently landing brand deals? And really the two main ways they're landing brand deals is one is some creators get inbounds, but reality is that's quite sporadic, unpredictable for a lot of creators. And obviously the bigger creators get that. And then the other way is around these marketplaces. So you're probably familiar with, your Upworks, your Fivers, these marketplaces where, brand posts brief and creators apply to it. Now within the creator economy, there's a lot of these marketplaces. And so, but for the creators, there's probably about 50 of them, and the creators need to stay across all of them and they need to manually apply. So it's a very manual process for them. So we at the same time saw that creators wanted to do outreach, so cold pitching effectively, but for them to do that, they would, manually trying to find the email address of the brand. And it was a very manual process because the tools out there for outbounding, so like your Clays, your Apollos, these types of tools, your Instantly's, they are built for B2B SaaS businesses, right? So they're built for businesses that kind of have a team and that are managing the software. They're not built for content creators. So we took kind of all those learnings, which really was kind of the genesis of where we landed, which is Persona today.
Well, that's fascinating. That's really cool. So I just curious, just to take another step back here. So in terms of growing up in Sydney, what initially sparked your interest in tech? Had you grown up with a computer really early on, or did that fascination come later?
No, I definitely, we had dial. I mean, I'm in that kind of millennial age bracket, so we had dial-up kind of growing up, which was always a fun experience, kind of cranking it up. But my family, my cousin was very kind of gone into tech very early. He was gone into engineering and design very early, so kind of being around him, it was always fascinating. And then obviously as kind of when I going through banking and kind of taking the learnings there and seeing that world, and I was kind of it was fast paced, but it was very corporate. And I kind of saw I could apply those skills better in business. And when my founder kind of approached me, it was kind of a no-brainer for me.
And then what about AI? Was it ChatGPT like many others, or were you tinkering with this stuff before then? Or
no, it was definitely ChatGPT for us. What's been interesting is our use case of AI, I think, is very effective. And what I mean by that is, so today, how we use our AI in our platform is so on the brand side, so within our brand, we have a brand database of currently, I think it's over 120,000 brands, which is growing kind of weekly. But we basically we use a bunch of AI agents to identify signals that these brands are either actively working with content creators or looking to work with content creators. So for example, some of those signals are, does this brand run meta ads? Does this brand run, are they on affiliate links? Our AI agent scans the brand's socials accounts and identifies what type of creators they work with. And then kind of we take that piece of data, and then on the creator side, because the creator plugs their socials into our platform, we then basically analyze their socials and kind of their profile, and then we have the ability to really match which brands the creator should pitch to effectively. So the creator should pitch to these 50 brands or pitch to these 200 brands based on their niche, based on the type of content they create.
interesting. And what was a specific moment that you guys realized that you could apply this kind of automation to to creators and brand deals and all of this? Was this last couple of years, I guess?
Yeah, so it was, I would say it was through the learnings. It was quite organic, I would say. So we kind of, obviously the learnings from Peddler, our kind of first foray into the creator economy, we kind of followed what our customer wanted. So what I mean by that is we got really close to our customers. I mean, we interview 5 customers, 10 customers a week, and have for for as long as we've been doing this. And so we, at first, I think what was quite interesting is, particularly in the creator space, I think when when I say AI, ChatGPT kind of, went live and there was that first couple of years, a lot of creators actually were quite cautious of it. I think, like a lot of people, but I think creators particularly, I think creatives probably particularly, because they think that the thought was like AI is going to take over their creative brain, and a creative person shouldn't be using AI. So what that meant for us was like we kind of needed to manage how we communicated our use of AI within the business, within the product. But what's interesting, I would say, is kind of over the last 6 months, we've found that our customers are much more receptive to knowing that, okay, they're using AI. This is an AI tool. They're very happy kind of with that.
Are you guys tinkering with it on other fronts of your business as well? And where are you finding it affect more like not just the user experience, but also kind of in the workflows and just like how you operate your business? I'm just curious.
And like internally,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we obviously use it a lot internally, probably across the whole business, whether that's from, marketing, comms, data analysis. We use it a lot. Yeah, I mean, we're interacting with it all the time.
And you said you guys spend a lot
And
of
coding,
time.
obviously. Sorry, and
Oh,
obviously engineering. Probably the
what's
biggest use
the
case.
what's the latest? What's like the latest thing that's kind of blowing your mind about? I don't know. I mean, with Replit, are you using Cursor? Is it Codex? Have you played with OpenClaw? I mean, there's just so much stuff
Yeah,
going on. It's kind of hard to keep up.
yeah. I mean, Clawbot, obviously the release. I actually haven't played with it, not myself, because there's obviously that security aspect. But I've obviously been reading a lot about it and watching a lot of content on it. It's pretty crazy. It's actually quite. I'm very much optimist. Obviously, I mean, I think as a founder or you've got to be quite optimistic. Net, I'm definitely an optimist. So I think it's amazing. Obviously, there's the whole security thing, but I think that's very fixable over time. But yeah, I think it's kind of that most recent release seems like a bit of a step change. I mean, you kind of read how people are using it, and they're very much, really starting to automate. It's really acting as like an assistant, so to speak, which is like very much kind of in the space we're building. I think probably the thing worth touching on for us, what's really useful or interesting for our product is we get a lot of, because we kind of look at our data layer, so to speak, or our intelligence layer, one on the brand side, which I've touched on, and then obviously on the creator side. But really the thing that brings those two things together is around usage, right? So we have thousands of emails and interactions with our platform going through our platform, which means then we can take that usage data and really feed it back to our users. So for example, things like we see patterns that pitching, beauty brands, and I'm just kind of making this up as an example, but pitching a beauty brand on a Monday is you're going to get a higher reply rate than pitching a beauty brand on a Friday. So you can kind of use that, what we call that intelligence layer or that usage layer, to our effect. But yeah, it's exciting. How about yourself? What's getting you excited?
Oh my goodness, I'm tinkering all the time. Yeah, like on whenever I can. Yeah, and I'm just constantly delighted by all of it. I just find it so. I know there's like this doom and gloom, and we're all gonna die and be jobless and homeless and all this, but when you can look past that, it's
Totally.
actually quite empowering. I mean, just the fact that, like, look, I studied electrical engineering. I took, quite a few courses. I did well in my classes. I've had jobs where I was programming, but I'm not a good programmer. Like, let's face it. Like, I suck at programming. Okay, but with reverence, I looked at coders or co-founders that I've had, and I still do. But now it's like, I don't know, it's like the era of the idea guy, right? I don't know how to say it,
Yeah.
but it's fun, man. Like I love, like I said, I have maybe too many ideas, but now it's just all about like ideas because you can bring it to life at like an almost at an instant.
Totally.
So
A-
I'm here
Are
for
you
it.
finding on the spectrum, you're finding it, is it weighing to more productivity for you or just more fun? Like in terms of your usage of it, generally
Yes and
speaking.
yes. Like everything. It's like, I mean, number one, it's insanely productive. Insanely productive. Like I could, I actually, wait, I have written books. I was gonna say I could write a book on it, but you know, it's not like a bestseller or anything. My mom and my dad have written, have probably read it at most. But my point is, yeah, I think. And look, I wrote a book. Who would have thunk it? Like now, it's that's. I came back from Montreal last weekend with my buddies, and on the train ride back, I just decided that I would write a book,
Yeah.
and you
And
can,
all
right?
through, totally. What, using
And
ChatGPT or
so
which
yeah, a little bit of
AI?
this, a little bit of that. You know, I'll use ChatGPT for the outline and the this and that, but I'll use Claude for writing. I've kind of figured out now that they all have different strengths. Gemini's really good at like research and multimodal. You got Grok that's super connected because of the Twitter element. I'm in love with Claude in a big way, and so yeah, and I'm also tinkering with the Claude bot thing, not in a unsafe way, but like I've got a bunch of computers lying around and but it's so cool. It's so cool. Again, people
Yeah.
are like losing their mind and all the world's gonna end. Or that Facebook for Maltbot or whatever. That was wild last week. But I'm here
Wild.
for it, dude. And look, like to me, it's just like again, it's just about tinkering and playing with this stuff
Totally.
and being familiar with it. And I can just see a time very, very in the near future where um, I don't know, we're just like the world is an abundant place, right? Like all these things that Elon Musk talking about, like we can alleviate poverty. Bro, I'm bought in. Like I drank the Kool-Aid. And yeah,
With
again,
you.
it's AI. I know it's a bit, like I said, scary and all that stuff, but I mean, I was in Bitcoin, or I am in Bitcoin. I started India's first Bitcoin company 13 years ago. And Bitcoin is like the most uncomfortable topic ever, right? Like try getting through a Christmas dinner, a family dinner when like all you can think about and talk about is I mean you just stop getting
Dark web.
invited. Yeah, it's like you just stop getting invited, right? And so yeah, I think, but I think AI is like I said, it gives me a similar type of like, feeling, if that makes sense. And I've been
Yeah.
around, like I think I'm probably older than you, even though I probably look way younger. No, I'm kidding. No, I think I grew up during the whole like 386, 486 era, right, where it was like super green, like old school terminal. And then I saw the internet, kind of come to life. I saw smartphones during my university years come to life, and then it just kept going, right? And
Yeah.
Bitcoin
Yeah.
was another one of those like skies parting, angels singing type of moments. And then to fast forward to today, I think AI. I also spent 10 years in robotics before I got into Bitcoin, and I think robotics is going to make a big resurgence with like once all this deep
Definitely.
learning and everything finds its way there. So I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm just infatuated with the concept and more like the people behind it too. That's why I love doing this
Yeah.
podcast. Like I don't really know why I do it. It's just fun, like getting to learn and share at the same time.
For
And
sure.
one of my so I know we're kind of getting to the end of the time here, so I want to ask you one question. So one of my themes that I like to also focus on is like again, I talked to a lot of tech guys, entrepreneurs or gals, um, but I like to touch on this concept of like courage, right? Because I find like if there's anything that's in more short supply than Bitcoin, it's courage. And there's a lot of smart people out there, and now hell, I have all the smartest bots in my pocket, right? With ChatGPT and everything. So I mean, smart is good, but courage is in short supply. Can you speak to that about like kind of your entrepreneurial journey and how you maybe overcame some of
Yeah.
those
For
fears?
sure. I mean, I think so. Probably the two points that stand out for me is when I left the investment banking world. I just had my first kid, my daughter, and I didn't have a job, and I just was like, I'm out of here, and so I just left. So that was, leaving, just having a baby. I think she was like a month old, and I left a very, very safe job. And then similarly, when I left my next job to start my business, I was kind of living. Had 2 kids, and I was living at my in-laws. We were still with my family, kind of trying to work things out. So I kind of just took the plunge. But I think to answer that, the motivation to that, or how I kind of got the courage, I think it's like, in a way, just kind of backing yourself, right? I always feel like I like, going back to those 2 examples, the first time I felt like I knew I'd find a job, I backed myself. I knew I'd find a job. And when I took the plunge into entrepreneurship, I very much just backed myself. So that's probably, I guess that's kind of what gave me the courage. I think the other thing probably worth touching on that is, like, obviously your support network. I'm very lucky to have a very, very close, big family that's always supporting my decisions. So my wife and my kids, but then even my kind of extended family. So that's definitely helps, because I think doing it on your own, and probably actually the other one there is around having a co-founder, like having co-founders. So I'm one of 3 co-founders in the business. I could not do it alone. And I think people that do it alone, I tip my hat to them, because it would be very, very hard. You're on mute, by the way.
Maybe I was gonna say, maybe with AI that'll all change, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still like the human element. I kind of feel like I would get a bit bored or something. Like, I still like that human in the loop. Now, I don't like being surrounded by 6s and 7s. Like, I like to be around like super high performers that are like at the top of their game, but I still like to be connected to humans. Like, I feel like there's some sort of feedback loop that just is beyond computation or simple just intelligence or linear intelligence or something that's going on there beyond my explanation.
For sure. I mean, like, at a very basic level, humans obviously ingest far more data all the time, through visually, through sound, through taste, than a LLM, right? So, like, we definitely consume, we're processing more. But I also think, just on that point, I think the big thing is around trust. So, like, obviously, if it was you just running a business, scaling a business with AI, you obviously trust the AI to some extent. But I fundamentally don't think we're at a place just yet in human society where people are going to trust bots more than they trust people. And that doesn't apply for all people, as in, like, I would trust the AI over lots of people, but like certain people, like my co-founders, for example, I would trust them or their judgment over an AI bot.
Yeah, I think we're all trying to find that right mix of automation, AI, and human ingenuity. And but anyways, David, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And yeah, just hang out for maybe 2 seconds. I'll bring this one to a close. End stream.